Perfect. So hello everyone, I hope you've been enjoying the festival so far. So welcome to my presentation, Tech and Social Impact, the Power of Volunteering. So my name is Beatrice, my pronouns are she, her. I'm a front-end intern at a company called Fueled, and you can find me on Twitter at Beatrice, well, sorry, not Beatrice, that's my name. You can find me on Twitter at builtbyb, that's spelled B-E-A. And remember to follow and tweet at codebar and use the hashtag codebar festival in your tweets. So today I'm going to discuss the power of volunteering within the technology industry. So let's just jump right into it. So what is volunteering? Volunteering can be defined as an activity that involves spending time unpaid that aims to help other people. It's considered a selfless act and also intended to promote good or improve human quality of life. So there are different types of volunteering, and I loosely have broken them down into 3 groups. So the first is service-based volunteering. This is when volunteers assist and offer up their services to a company or charity. The next is event-based volunteering. This is when volunteers may assist at one-time or reoccurring events. And the last is skill-based volunteering. This is when volunteers use their talent and experiences to help out individuals or organizations. So you're probably thinking by now, why is volunteering so powerful? Well, volunteering can level up your skills and your career. A study by Deloitte explored the impact of volunteering. In this study, they found 82% of respondents were more likely to choose a candidate with volunteering experience on their CV. 80% of respondents agreed that active volunteers move into leadership roles more easily. 85% believe that skill-based volunteering helps employees improve communication skills, and 88% believe that skill-based volunteering helps employees develop strong character traits. Within the technology industry and community, there's a huge emphasis on improving your skills and for example, your technical and soft skills. So as a result, all types of volunteering is beneficial and helps the technology industry thrive. That is absolutely amazing. By helping out others, you're also improving yourself. So by now, you're probably thinking, how can I level up my skills and how can I be empowered through volunteering? So first, let's look at how skill-based volunteering can empower junior developers. So for junior developers, the power of volunteering can help you build your confidence and tackle imposter syndrome. On the right of this slide, there's an image with 4 square panels. In the first panel, there's a brown bear and a panda bear. The brown bear says to the panda bear, "I'm afraid I'm overstaying my welcome." In the second panel, you see the panda bear say to the brown bear, "You just got here." In the third panel, you see the brown bear reply, "Yes." This small comic strip sums up imposter syndrome, which is often felt by all developers, especially junior developers. Some junior developers may feel like they do not belong and are imposters waiting to be found out. Junior developers who volunteer to teach others how to code will see their confidence grow. There's nothing more satisfying when your student thanks you for helping them, and that gives you a huge confidence boost. So this links to my next point. Junior developers who volunteer to share their skills also gain a deeper understanding of the core concepts of programming. So according to a study by the British Psychological Society, learning by teaching has a positive effect on individuals. And this can be applied to junior developers who volunteer to teach others. As you spend time teaching what you've learned, you go on to show a better understanding and retain the information that you've learned. And I believe there are 2 main reasons why this happens. When you're expected to teach others, this leads to an increased motivation to learn and pass on your knowledge. And when you're teaching, this leads to an increased feeling of competency and autonomy. I really feel like these are core qualities that are shown by senior developers. So you can see here how this gives junior developers the core skills to move into more senior positions. And whilst you're building those skills as a junior developer, You're also improving how to communicate and explain technical concepts, solutions, and bugs whilst you're volunteering. So communication is a key skill for developers. Most times you'll be collaborating with others on one code base. And I think by volunteering to teach someone how to code, junior developers practice and strengthen their communication skills. They learn how to break down and explain technical concepts. For example, what a function does, and maybe why that loop is an infinite loop. As well as this, junior developers can improve on how to explain technical bugs and how to fix them. As a junior developer, you'll be working with others on the code that they've written. So I think this leads on to my next point, which is as a result of volunteering, you become really empowered to build your confidence in pair programming. I really personally think pair programming is an important skill for developers, and it's a skill that takes time to learn. Pair programming is awesome and you learn so much. Normally, we envision junior developers learning from senior developers, but I would truly argue that junior developers can also learn from other junior developers. An article published on Free Code Camp stated that there are 3 advantages of pair programming with others who are learning how to code. So pair programming is an excellent way to learn from another coder, as I mentioned. Pairing is a great environment to practice collaboration skills, which is key to good software development. Again, what I've mentioned. And 3, the benefits of pair programming are even greater for new software developers. So as you can see, skill-based volunteering really empowers junior developers. And I think it provides the core skills that needs to, builds up the core skills that help them to move into a senior position. So if there are any junior developers in the audience or any kind of entry-level developers who are currently volunteering, feel free in the chat or tweet me at builtbyb how you feel the power of volunteering has helped you level up. I'd be really interested to look at the chat and see how you think volunteering has been really beneficial to you. So let's move on and see how service-based volunteering can empower and level up senior developers. Just as a note here, anyone who's a mid-level developer, I kind of put you in the same category as senior. So this can really be applied to you, like the next slides as well. So for senior developers, volunteering can be still really useful and it helps level up your skills, but most importantly, allows you to kind of build new skills. So a key part of being a senior is being able to pass on the knowledge you've acquired as a junior. So you learn how to mentor and use different mentoring styles. An article published on Code Mentor observed that people usually have 1 of 3 learning styles when it comes to programming. 1, analogists, learners who use analogies to relate programming concepts to real-world concepts. 2, deep divers, learners who need to know how things work, get underneath the hood and kind of find out why things are working. And they'll usually ask really challenging questions, which will push the senior developers' skills. And experimenters, learners who want to try out things. They break their code, they test their code, they are renaming their variables and really odd names, just trying to kind of get a good understanding. They really just go in and just experiment with everything. So by volunteering as a mentor, as a senior developer, I think you will learn to quickly adapt your mentoring style. You'll quickly realize that there are so many different learning styles and how you can build a strong mentor and mentee relationship. The next thing that is a good skill that you kind of gain out of volunteering is learning how to explain technical concepts in multiple ways. There's something really special about being able to break down complicated technical skills. And I think it's a really rare skill that isn't talked about. I guarantee there are some senior developers watching in the audience who might have been lucky to be mentored when they were a junior. And they probably asked their senior at the time to re-explain a complicated concept quite a few times because they didn't understand it at first, which is completely fine. This is a very powerful skill, and I think it's something that needs to be more talked about more in the technology industry. As mentioned, not all junior developers have the same learning style. And I think volunteering gives senior developers the power to really hone this powerful yet underrated skill. So whilst I'm on the topic of skills, I think volunteering can help senior developers learn other technical and non-technical skills. So through volunteering, senior developers might gain like non-technical skills such as learning and managing groups of volunteers, creating content on social media platforms for tech companies, charities, and non-profit organizations, negotiating with companies for funding for charities and non-profit organizations. So by gaining these non-technical skills, it might actually help you to decide your next career move or open up a new freelancing opportunity. So by leading and managing a group of volunteers, you might realize you want to become an engineering manager. By creating content online, you might want to create a blog or create tutorials that help other people to learn. So you're sharing your knowledge. And also, I think by having really strong negotiation skills, you might also, be able to acquire funding and gain investors to maybe start your own tech business or a tech startup. So you can see how service-based volunteering can allow developers to learn new skills. And I think also consider exploring other technical and non-technical roles. And once again, before I move on, if there are any senior developers in the audience who are currently volunteering, feel free to put in the chat how you feel volunteering has been really powerful for you. Once again, I'm really interested in how other people who volunteer feel like they are gaining something out of volunteering. So lastly, I wanted to explore how companies who do event-based volunteering can empower themselves and others. So companies who volunteer to donate to tech non-profits or charities, provide scholarships and discounts, sponsor events, for example, providing spaces or snacks, are investing in the next generation. For example, makers are offering scholarships to 6 of our community members in codebar. This gives the opportunity to complete a bootcamp for free. I think this is an excellent example of how companies are breaking down the barrier to get into the technology industry. And I think in the next few slides, I really want to highlight charities that are investing in the next generation of technology and the people who work in technology. So first off, obviously, codebar. They run free, weekly, or regular workshops, which are currently digital. And they try to create opportunities for students who want to move into the technology industry and making coding more accessible. So I found codebar extremely helpful, welcoming, and just an amazing community. There are so many chapters across the world, and they have helped so many career changers like myself to move into technology. The next charity or nonprofit that I want to really highlight is Code First Girls. So they train women and non-binary in IT skills. They have 91 training centers in 38 cities and towns across the UK and Ireland. So they've partnered with I think 50 universities and a variety of different private enterprises and community centers to host their courses. So they have also added thousands of creative, hardworking and technically skilled women into their community every single month. So one thing for me that stands out about Code First Girls is that they partner with university. And the reason why this stood out to me was because a study conducted by Women in STEM used the data from UCAS, universities, and college admissions services, and they found in 2019 there were only 26% of female graduates in core STEM subjects, and in 2018/2019 there were 16 female graduates in computer science. Then a study by WISE found that there are only 16% of women in IT professions. I think we are heading towards the correct direction, but those numbers and percentages are still really low. And I really love the fact that Code First Girls are partnering with universities as they're introducing technology to students from non-computer science backgrounds. The next charity that I want to highlight is Code Your Future. So Code Your Future train trainees in full stack web development, And this is done by professional volunteer developers from the industry. And they put a massive emphasis on collaboration and product development through tech projects. They are such an amazing community and organization. They support the trainees every step of the way. They are truly there. They offer laptops for individuals who do not have laptops. They offer, I think, internet or Wi-Fi for individuals who don't have Wi-Fi. They are like a real tight-knit community, and that's what I really love about Code Your Future. They're really welcoming, and they have a good basis of knowledge to pass on to their pass on to the trainees. And many trainees have felt that Code Your Future is like their second family, and return to volunteer at Code Your Future because it has truly changed their life. Another charity that I really want to highlight is Coding Black Females, Coding Black Females. And they are a non-profit organization aimed to provide opportunities for Black women in tech. So I was kind of doing my research, and I found a study by BCS, the Chartered Institution of IT, and they found across the UK, there's actually only 1.9% of Black women in IT professions. I was really shocked when I found out how low this percentage was. And again, this is why I love non-profit organizations such as Coding Black Females. They are pushing to increase Black women in the technology industry and making Black women more visible in general. Prior to lockdown, they had regular meetups, but now they have regular digital events and partnership opportunities. They have a great network, and again, they are really opening and really welcoming. And lastly, I really wanted to highlight this charity because so far I've spoken about charities and nonprofits that support adults, but I really want to highlight the importance of investing in the younger generation. So Code Club is a global community that believes all children should have the opportunity to learn no matter where they are or where they come from. They provide free resources and support that are easy to follow. So I love the ethos of Code Club because as a child, I had an interest in technology, but it wasn't until I would say my early 20s that I decided to actually kind of explore the technology industry. And I think when you start young, we can start to see more changes. So more people who are more children considering that they want to move into technology. So Code Club is actually run by another charity called Raspberry Pi Foundation, and they make computing and digital more accessible to everyone across the world. So if there are any individuals in the audience who care for young children, I would really encourage you to look into Code Club and the Raspberry Pi Foundation. And if there are any more charities that invest in the future of the next generation in tech, please, again, share them in the chat or tweet me on Twitter. I'd really love to see and find new charities that are doing things to kind of make the technology community more accessible and a more welcoming place. So I picked these charities because they were well known, and I became aware of them through volunteers and my personal interest. So this leads on to my next point. I think there are so many charities helping to invest in the next generation. And when companies volunteer to support charities, this builds and increases their company brands. Employees are proud to work at companies that promote social good. And in a study by Sage, they found particularly Generation Z and millennials not only want, but expect their employers to provide opportunities to volunteer or either to be doing volunteering as a company worldwide, because a company wholeheartedly. So in fact, I think employees are more likely to share with friends and families and even post on social media about the company that they're actively volunteering at, they're even more likely to post on social media about the company's volunteering activity. So this increases the company's status in the tech community and raises the profile of the business, especially prospective employees, which leads on to my final point. When you have when you're investing in the future, when your brand is you have a big active brand and you're opening up spaces, you're giving the opportunities to people who didn't consider technology, or who maybe can't get into the technology reason for financial reasons or personal reasons. You're opening up so many different networks, and it's allowing companies to hire diverse and talented individuals. It's amazing when companies are actively volunteering within the technology industry and they're helping to make technology more accessible. Like when you're offering these resources, you're actively changing the technology industry. And there's loads of talks on Twitter about how the technology industry is unrepresented. And doing such things like volunteering gives companies the opportunity to give back, because technology is used by everyone. So everyone should feel welcome in the technology industry. So in conclusion, if there's anything that you can take away from this talk, is that volunteering within the tech community empowers and helps people grow and succeed. So my name is Beatrice. Thank you for listening to my talk, and thank you to codebar for having me. A massive round of applause for everyone who has made codebar Festival happen today. Thank you.